Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda.
Hare Krishna, welcome. We are here with our Bhagavad-gita. Bhagavad-gita as it is. That's why we call the channel Bhagavad-gita. Here it is. This is translated and commented by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and my name is Labanga Latika. We are in the 6th chapter describing Jnana Yoga, the yoga by meditation, which is quite a severe form of yoga. So don't be alarmed if these texts are a little bit above and beyond, because actually we will come to the point where Arjuna says to Krishna, I don't think this is a very good yoga system for me. And Krishna is ultimately directing us forward to Bhakti Yoga, which is structured in a different way. Still, we want to hear everything that's in the Bhagavad-gita. So I'm reading text 18. Yada vinayatang chittam atmanyeva vitishthate nishpriha sarvakamebhyo yukta ityuchyate tada. When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to be well established in yoga. Purport. The activities of the yogi are distinguished from those of an ordinary person by his characteristic cessation from all kinds of material desires, of which sex is the chief. A perfect yogi is so well disciplined in the activities of the mind that he can no longer be disturbed by any kind of material desires. This perfectional state can automatically be attained by persons in Krishna consciousness, as stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, we will hear this over and over again. This can automatically be attained by a person in Krishna consciousness, because when we read Bhagavad-gita or when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, there will be a lot going on. We will go back and forth through the different aspects and angles and so on. But we want to remember at all times what is the actual goal of this yoga practice. And the goal of this yoga practice is to develop self-realization on a spiritual level, which means connecting with the Supreme. And all these other yoga methods, they also have that goal, but in a more indirect way. And by practicing Krishna consciousness, one will attain that goal in a more immediate way. So yes, it's not just hyperbole. It's not just something we say because it's our thing. But that's actually the understanding of these scriptures when one studies them deeply. I will read a verse here of Srimad Bhagavatam. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayor vachang sivai kunta guna nuvarnane karo harer mandira madhyanadishu shrutim chakkarachyuta sat kathodaye mukunda lingalaya darshane drisho tadbhrityagat Trasparshenga samangamam gharanang chatatpada sarodya sorabhe Srimattulasya rasanang tadarpite Pado harer kshetra padanusarpane Shiro hrishikesha padabhivandane Kamang chadasye natu kama kamaya Yathotama shlokya dhyanashraya rattihi. King Ambarisha first of all engaged his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Then, one after another, he engaged his words in describing the transcendental qualities of the Lord, his hands in mopping the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing of the activities of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the transcendental form of the Lord, his body in touching the bodies of the devotees, his sense of smell in smelling the scents of the lotus flowers offered to the Lord, his tongue in tasting the tulsi leaf offered to the lotus at the lotus feet of the Lord, his legs in going to places of pilgrimage and the temple of the Lord, his head in offering obeisances unto the Lord, and his desires in executing the mission of the Lord. All these transcendental activities are quite befitting a pure devotee. So that's Maharaj Ambarish, who is given us an example. We hear of Bhakti Yoga as having 9 processes: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. So it begins by hearing, because before we hear, we don't know anything. Kirtanam, glorifying, speaking about the Lord. Remembering, smaranam, because when we've heard it and spoke about it, we can also remember it. And then there is menial temple service, there is archana, worship of the deity, there is the relationship of servant and a friend even, and then Atmanivedanam. And Ambarish Maharaj is exemplifying Atmanivedanam, which means complete surrender of the self. And that this is one way of showing it. With all of his activities, it was connected to Krishna. It means he was doing all the hearing and chanting and serving and worshipping and remembering. All the other activities were in there. And we cannot imitate Ambarish Maharaj, but he serves as an example, as an inspiration, and we hear about him in the Bhagavatam. King Ambarish first of all engaged, yes, I just read that. This transcendental stage may be inexpressibly subjectively by the followers of the impersonalist path, but it becomes very easy and practical for a person in Krishna consciousness, as is apparent in the above description of the engagement of Maharaj Ambarish. Unless the mind is fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord by constant remembrance, such transcendental engagements are not practical. In the devotional service of the Lord, therefore, these prescribed activities are called archana, or engaging all the senses in the service of the Lord. The senses and the mind require engagement. Simple abnegation is not practical. Therefore, for people in general, especially those who are not in the renounced order of life, transcendental engagement of the senses and the mind, as described above, is the perfect process for transcendental achievement, which is called yukta in the Bhagavad-gita. Yes, so previously we were reading a verse that described very strictly how the yogi renounces and focuses and so on. Here we get the information on how one can add to one's regular daily activities, connect them to Krishna, and they will become spiritual activities. They also will become practical and not particularly difficult. Still, it's a process. We're not perfect the first day, but this is a process that can engage all of our... we can engage in it in a natural way. You know, if you're an artist, you can paint for Krishna. If you're a parent, you can speak to your children about Krishna. Whatever you are in this world, you can... I mean, if you have a home, if you eat food, you can cook food and offer it to Krishna. That probably includes a lot of people that eat food, isn't it? So that's why Bhakti Yoga is considered practical, because it's not very difficult to dovetail our daily activities, our regular existence with Krishna in a practical way. And by doing that, our spiritual awareness, our Krishna consciousness actually grows. We speak about that as making spiritual advancement. I think I will read the next verse. Text 19. Tatadipo nivatastho nengate sopamasmrita yogino yatachitasya yundyato yogamatmanaha. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self. Purport. A truly Krishna-conscious person, always absorbed in transcendence, in constant undisturbed meditation on his worshipable Lord, is as steady as a lamp in a windless place. So, we may know from experience that our mind is not always like a lamp in a windless place. It wavers, it goes here and there, it goes back and forth. And we will hear further on in these verses that this yoga, this dhyana yoga, may not be very practical, but the same principles apply when we practice bhakti yoga. Only then our service and meditation becomes more practical and more immediate and more easily to hold on to. And in that way, that yogic stage of unwavering mind fixed at Krishna's lotus feet becomes something of a possible goal, not just an impossible goal. It's interesting also, previously it said here, the activities of a yogi are distinguished from those of an ordinary person of his characteristic cessation of all kinds of material desires, of which sex is the chief. So the yogi does it in a mechanical way, in a difficult way, as we've been saying over and over here, to control his senses and his mind. A bhakti yogi does it in a more natural, dynamic, personal way by connecting to Krishna. So it doesn't mean we kill all the other desires. It means we encourage and kindles the spiritual desires of service to Krishna. And when those desires become stronger, more, bigger, when they grow, then that person that we are becomes satisfied. Because being a person means we have desires, we have aspirations, we have interests, we have relationships. And in Krishna consciousness, it's completely possible to focus all of those natural parts of ourselves, natural tendencies in the service of Krishna. And the more we do that, we will find that inner satisfaction, that inner happiness, and also the disturbance that comes from identifying with this body will diminish more and more. Of course, it's still a process. It doesn't happen on the first day. But it's, I don't know, I find it a quite beautiful illustration, this lamp in a windless place. It's sometimes a little bit of an impersonal example of the yogi's mind, but at the same time we can see how we're accustomed to having a mind that goes here and there and here and there and over and back and forth. Wouldn't it be nice to have a mind a little bit more like a lamp in a windless place? So what Krishna is saying and what Prabhupada is stressing over and over is that the best way, and by best we mean the most practical and the most achievable way to do that, is by practicing Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So I want to say that also underneath the film there is a little box with links to, if you would like to have your own Bhagavad-gita, you can order it. If you want to visit the Hare Krishna temple, you can find some addresses. And I would very much appreciate any questions or comments that you leave for me. I will come back and reply to them. And it's always possible to subscribe. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for watching. We aim for updates every Tuesday and Friday. Please come back. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down there. We also have some links and information for you. And there is, of course, the subscribe button. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I'm a Hare Krishna, and I approve this message. Subscribe.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.